Viewers, it's a special hangout today with Savio Rodriguez, the editor of Goa Chronicle. This is more of a conversation than a hangout, really. And Savio and I are going to talk about perhaps one of the root causes of what is the mess that Bollywood finds itself today, Dawood Ibrahim. To talk a little bit more about this person, let us meet Savio. Savio, welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaste. Thank you, Shreya, for having me once again.
Namaskar. And Savio, I read with interest your article on Dawood Ibrahim and how he was just one of those, small time guys, dadas trying to, have his own territory during the time of, Vardabhai and other people. And from there, he became some sort of a larger than life figure. And now, I allude to a person who is kind of inspired from this particular character in my book of fiction. Now, I did not read up on Dawood's history before I wrote this. I just pictured that if somebody really young were to become a Dada, what kind of breaks would he need to get in life so that he gets to there? And that's how the character grows in this. Now, your article spares no details. In fact, there are many other things that I think as we progress in this conversation, we will talk about. But perhaps you can tell me what is going on now. Where is this guy? Is he dead or alive? Is he in Karachi on Clifton Road or something like that? And what is the big reluctance to nab this guy?
Shri, let's start at the onset. To me, and to many nationalists like me, Dawood Ibrahim is nothing but a coward. And let me explain why. It is only a coward who attacks innocent people. Dawood Ibrahim has been designated a global terrorist. He's been designated a global terrorist because he's involved in terror activities. Dawood's not contributed to any society, including his own Muslim community. If at all, he's led the Muslim community boys astray towards paths of terrorism, towards paths of drugs, towards paths of smuggling. You see, Dawood was nothing but a small-time hoodlum that got protection by certain officers of the Mumbai police and was allowed to flourish. When he was allowed to flourish and when his smuggling trade got bigger, he then ventured out into drugs. And if you look at the Afghan-Iran belt, as I mentioned in my article, and as the US President Bush himself has identified, they had boiled down to 3 individuals and 2 entities. What that they went after that was responsible for the Afghan-Iran drugs as far as US was concerned. Dawood Ibrahim was number 1. His entity, the Dawood Ibrahim organization, was the first number 1 entity. So they saw that they arrived at a time where Colombian drugs cartels were getting targeted. It was the Afghan-Iran belt, which was then linked to Pakistan, that saw a sudden rise in drug inflow into the US. That was managed by Dawood Ibrahim. So you had this Ghati, as I would call, Gunda from Mumbai, who moves to Dubai, grows his business there in illegal human trafficking, in drugs, in a bit of arms at that point of time, and then grows up even more exponentially because of his connection with Pakistan, and then becomes the guy who actually controls the flow of drugs in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and even in the US and certain parts of Europe. So he really grew from there. His growth was because we were not able to nab him at a time when he was at his weakest. Even when he went to Dubai, there was a possibility of the current NSA picking him up. But that was also thwarted by the Mumbai police. And obviously, at that point of time, the route would have been used to use one of Chota Rajan's men to track him down, because that's what intelligence does. It use an enemy within an enemy with an enemy. But that also got foiled. The point is, who is Dawood? Dawood, in the real sense, is a very powerful man. As far as his business is concerned, his drug money is concerned, his arms money is concerned, his investments into real estate is concerned across the certain parts of the world, and most importantly, his investments in Bollywood. But in actuality, that is his power that is made to be seen, as you would see in Bollywood movies, you would see in media writing about it. But in actuality, this man is a coward. You know, I lived in Dubai for a very long time, so I know a couple of his relatives who happened to be in our school, and they were just the chip of the old block. Thugs, cowards who would attack in a mob. They were not people who would stand up for right. So the Muslim community in India and in other parts of India who think Dawood is a savior by offering them money, giving them jobs, taking them to Dubai or taking them to other parts of the world, he's not doing them any favor. He's only expanding his greed. The problem is, why is Dawood not being able to be tackled by the Indian government? It is simply because there are too many secrets that Dawood has. He could not have grown without political patronage. He could not have grown if the Mumbai police did not give him the protection that he required. That is what Dawood is. Is Dawood dangerous? Of course he is. Does he have his tentacles all over the Indian political scene? In most cases. Maybe not the current dispensation, but certainly very powerful people in politics. Does he control Bollywood? Of course he does. That's one of the best places to convert black into white. So this recent, exposes happening on drugs in Bollywood is not abnormal. It's not something that is shocking, because wherever Dawood is, drugs will follow. You see, that became the new money in terrorism. Drugs and diamonds are the two forms of payment in the terrorism. You know, where money is not tracked. So they sell drugs to people. They use diamonds as a means of purchasing it, and that's how arms and drugs and diamonds get connected. So Dawood is dangerous, but Dawood is also a coward. He's somebody who's fearful. He's somebody who's holed up in Pakistan. For all you know, Clifton House is not where he is. It's just made to believe. He must be staying somewhere else, because he's not going to make it so obvious. Recent photographs of his have come out. But why is this guy kept under such cover? Because even the ISI knows that if this guy is caught by the intelligence of any of the foreign countries, CIA or the Mossad or even us at RAW, he might just spill a lot of beans that has geopolitical influences. Because this man is a terrorist. It's as simple as that. And terrorists are cowards. He's not for the Muslim community. This great narrative that Bollywood spread, that he got into the bomb blast and the agitation because there was a Hindu-Muslim communal violence, is all humbug. Because in the 1993 Mumbai terror blast, there were Muslims also who died. So he's not bad for a community. He's not against a Muslim Don versus a Hindu Don, which is what you tried to see happening with the 26/11 attack, to create a Hindu terror issue. If you look at even the 26/11, you will find some footprints of Dawood also over there. They cannot function without a logistical support. That logistical support is where Dawood is strong. For the movement of arms and ammunition, for the movement of drugs, for the movement of diamonds. Conflict diamonds, not normal diamonds.
But if you look at any common man, they don't know the difference between normal diamonds and conflict diamonds. In fact, gold is also getting smuggled into India. Diamonds are getting smuggled in. drugs also finds itself a huge market in India. The younger generation is really being, you know, shown these things. And where is all this headed? I mean, it shouldn't, at least even the politicians' children should also be drug addicts by now, some of them at least. So, for their own kin's sake, for their own selfish sake, I would expect them to do something about it.
Well, day before yesterday, 300 crores worth of drugs, that's heroin, was caught in Kashmir. 300 crores worth of drugs. Just 2 days ago. Almost 48 hours, less than 48 hours. Where was this drugs headed to? You see, one of the reasons why I personally believe that Kashmir is such a bedrock of intelligence activities is because it is what you would call the hub of the drug distribution center. Okay, you have to understand what is called known as the ganja route for based on that book. So you have the Afghan drugs that is happening out there. The Afghan moves through to Pakistan. From Pakistan it comes to Kashmir. From Kashmir it moves to Punjab. In fact, one of my boys had managed to track a vehicle that was moving from Kashmir all the way to Punjab. From Punjab it then goes to the other parts of the country, and from Punjab it also moves to other parts of the world. There is a route that is there. So it comes to the cities from Mumbai, from Delhi, it could move to any part of the world. The point is this: drugs is a huge market, it's a huge revenue market. Now, high-end drugs like cocaine, heroin, the new synthetic drugs that are available are meant for the party circuit across India. And it's not restricted only to Mumbai. It's all over the place in the party circuit. Kids get high on it because it gives them an alternate reality that they are in. What they don't realize is the dangers of drugs. And once you get hooked onto it, you become an addict. So you have Bollywood, even southern film industries, you will find issues of drugs coming up. Because movie is one of the best ways to actually get a person to think about drugs. Okay? If you see this recent movie that came out on Goa, which is Palak, you had the two protagonists who come into Goa and get a high doing drugs. If you see Uttar Punjab, which then obviously had a story towards it, what did it tell you? That the pop star was doing drugs. So every part of the way, if you see Kabir's thing, again, this guy was doing drugs, being a doctor. So the point is, drugs are made to look like it's cool. And Bollywood, all the film industry, you're having cases in the South as well. They've been used as tools to spread this out because you need the youngsters to buy drugs. And high-level drugs are very expensive. So an average common man might not be able to procure it. Heroin and cocaine and all are addictions of the upper middle class and the rich and the elite. But the major chunk that goes to the lower end is grass, which is marijuana. That is something that most college kids get into at some point of time. So is it a threat to India? I think drugs is a threat to any society. Forget India. The reason Pakistan ensures India is flooded with drugs is so that it weakens the youth. You see, the source of the transportation of drugs is Pakistan. The reason US has been so kind to Pakistan is because the CIA in its own right know what is happening in the drug trade out there. Same like they did in Colombia and other parts of the Central American region, South American region. So I think we need to be very serious on drugs. I'm very glad that the issue has come up. And if you have to deal with drugs in Bollywood, if you have to deal with drugs in India, if you have to deal with terrorism in India, you have to deal with Dawood. There's no other way to deal with it. Either you destroy the fear of the Dawood, which is really what is a fear, and its clout, and the only way you can destroy him is by getting rid of him. So either you arrest him and bring him back to India, or like the Mossad did with Adolf Eichmann, or you go over there like they did with the person known as the Red Prince, Al-Salame. You just go and have him shot. But as long as the man continues, the fear of Dawood will remain. It's all over. And in Bollywood, you would always see them create this, the establishment has been bad for me. That's why I became the gangster Dawood. Whether it's Dawood, whether it's Rais, the D Company. I mean, people are even scared to take his name. Who is he? A man who's built his career on innocent blood. A guy who suddenly got global recognition in the underworld space by killing innocent people in the Mumbai blast. That is who Dawood is. He's nobody. If only there is political will to get this guy, India would be a better place. You have to understand the connect between drugs and terrorism, because they are both connected, and which is why most drugs come from Kashmir.
So I think, I don't know, I've been given hopes only to find them dashed. The recent one being the Augusta Westland case, where the Italian court judgment said that the politicians got the lion's share of the cut, and yet when the CBI charge sheet said, none of the politicians' names show up. So I see now NIA also is supposed to be jumping into the Sushant Singh Rajput investigation, but you got to finish these games. You cannot just keep starting chess games and then moving away with some sort of a set piece formation and then go back and hope to pick it up again. It never finishes this. And I really don't understand what Modi government and Amit Shah being the home minister are thinking. They really need to show some wins, for God's sake. 6 years now. You cannot keep on saying that investigation is on, investigation is on.
You see, the problem with Dawood and going after Dawood, I'll give you a little insight. This was about 5 years ago, and because I have a lot of connections in Dubai and some in Pakistan as well, I spoke to one of the intelligence officers and I said, can I help you track him down? Because there was a connect. The intelligence officer, who was a senior officer, told me, says, why do you want to waste your time? Nobody's going to do anything. Unnecessarily, you will end up losing a lot, including your life. So while your intent is good, there's no need to be very patriotic. I actually laughed. I said, there is a route. We all know where he is. It's not that this guy, you see, one of the intrinsic qualities of this person, Dawood, he said he's got a lot of hangers around with him. Most of the hangers in Dawood's life is his own family. Okay, relatives, cousins, who do not have the astuteness that Dawood has. So they talk a lot. They're always bragging. They're always flashy. They don't necessarily have to be in Karachi. They're also in Dubai, some of them. Some of them are in Bombay as well. So his extended family, his extended relatives, they are hangers basically. They normally tend to speak a lot. And these are traceable things. So it's not that the intelligence doesn't know where he is. It's not that the intelligence is not keeping a track on him. They are. The question is, I think what intelligence fears is that there is no political will to take him down. So it's best. I think if you take down once, you will send out a message to the rest of the world that we will not stand for drugs or terrorism. You cannot deal with terrorism unless you take Dawood off. You cannot deal with drugs. You need to understand that circle. You have to understand that gamut. These things that you're seeing, anti-CA riots, drugs inflow, murders of Bollywood actors and whatever they've got into, the political backing in it. Eventually, all of them links to underworld. And underworld in this region, even though they have different spokes, the hub is one, which is Dawood. You can have many different faces of it. So he's within the real estate realm. He's getting into businesses a lot in India and Southeast Asia and South Asia as well. So these are things known. These are not unknown. I just hope, Ray, that the Indian government realizes that if you have a very good intelligence arm, then that intelligence arm must replicate what an other foreign intelligence agency like Mossad must do. Dawood is public enemy number one. Once you take off Dawood, all your guys, like Sharad Pawar, for example, Praful Patel, Balasaheb Thackeray himself called Dawood a Shiv Sainik because he donated to the Ganapati Mandal. These are not people who care for the country. A man who killed innocent Indians must be shot down or hanged in front of the rest of the Indians. There's no other way to look at it. I'm sorry, I'm being absolutely blunt. But when you kill innocent Indians, then India and the government must have an action plan back. It cannot allow you to last for so long. It cannot allow you to grow. He must be taken down. And I think Ajit Doval is just the kind of guy, because he's tracked him for so long, to take him down. Just one message, one surgical strike. It is my only appeal to the Indian government. Otherwise, the nonsense in the country will not stop. Because after Dawood, let me assure you, there is no second in command. At least within the family, absolutely not.
I read about a few months ago that he was finished from COVID. Is that not true?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Hmm.
Not to the best of my knowledge. But,
So
it'll be such a shame. I'm saying it will be such a shame, Sri. A man that is responsible for so much of the terrorism since he grew up, since 1993, as far as India is concerned. He is responsible for terrorism and drugs not only in India but other parts of the world. Should suddenly find himself dying of any other disease other than what he should be tried for.
True.
It's just like those Nazi criminals, right? During the war crimes that they did. You cannot allow them to die peacefully in some place. They need to face the law.
Well, the Israelis were relentless in that. They hunted down every Nazi and made sure that he stood in front of one judicial court or the other. And that required a lot of political will, and they had that will. And I'm afraid India doesn't seem to be. I mean, there are many more low-hanging fruit that India can pick. Forget about going and doing a surgical strike, that too in the heart of Pakistan, wherever it is, whether it is Islamabad or Abbottabad or Karachi. I don't know. They could have done this a long time ago, Savio. September 2013, they were about to get him out, and then some command went from Delhi and said called off the whole thing. And I don't know, there was even a movie called D-Day, which I don't know how Dawood allowed to release, because it is actually the taking down of Dawood. Have you seen that movie?
Yes. It was based on the wedding, which obviously was to create an image that maybe this guy is actually, taken down. But he's not. Dawood's not dead. Dawood's very much alive. I think the important message that needs to go out to India needs to send out a message. India needs to send out the message that it can go after Dawood. You know, a Mehul Choksi, a Nirav Modi, these are guys you can crack anytime. They're too small a fry in what games that Dawood is playing, because Dawood now beyond somebody's reach. He's a global mafia. He's somebody that's got a lot of power in other parts. He can just manage. Unfortunately for him, he's got himself stuck with the ISI, and they're not going to let him go that easy. Okay, so either they finish him or we finish him. One of the two of us either die through a Pakistani bullet or he'll die to an Indian bullet. That's an eventuality. I don't want him to die from either of the bullets. I think as an Indian, I want him back, I want him tried, and I want him hanged in front of people. And I think we should go after him. That's my view.
Well, we'll wait and see because things are coming to a climax right now. So we'll have to just wait and see. Perhaps the ending is not very far. Thank you very much, Savio. And we will be back again with some conversations on this topic because this is not left the eyes of the public. It's now 2.5 months since people have been talking about Sushant Singh Rajput's murder. And it's just going on and on. Every day there are still new revelations. I don't know. I hope somebody start getting jailed. I think just leaking information, I don't think it helps. Thank you very much, Savio.
That's it.